We're back with another episode of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don and Kevin. And this is where we connect with really cool people who do wonderful things for our city.
That's our podcast's all about.
We got another one today for sure. But before we get into that, I want to ask you a question.
Hey, sure.
You just spent a week in Spain.
That's right.
Tell us about Spain, man.
Buenos dias, mi amigos.
Oh, I don't know what you're saying, but just go for it, buddy.
Good times, man. Beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful food, lots of sights and sounds. What an experience to be able to go there and experience that. But as the old adage is true, though, Don, it's always good to leave, but it's always also good to come home, right?
Always good to come to Scottsdale.
To Scottsdale,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, come home and enjoy the good citizens. But no, I had a great time, and it's memories we'll have for the rest of our lives. So
maybe we'll do another podcast with your trip to Spain as a topic. That might be kind of fun.
I got lots to talk about.
All right, if that's the case, then we maybe dial that one up.
And lots of pictures. So
well, we could do both. So
yeah,
that's fantastic. So, but today we are joined by a very special person. Her name is Enid Seiden. She's a longtime civic volunteer and philanthropic leader in Scottsdale. Enid's vice chair of the Scottsdale Public Library Board, where she helps guide the library's mission to inspire learning and connection across the community. She's also a member of the Foster Care Review Board of Maricopa County, which improves the lives of children and families in need. Enid, you're always up to something special for our community. Those are two examples, but my goodness, welcome, and so happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate being invited.
Absolutely. Well, Enid, you reflect the heart of community service in Scottsdale. When you agree with that,
her
Kevin?
whole family does.
Yeah, absolutely. You bet. So let's get into a bit of background before we start talking about some of the things that you're active in right now. But you've been involved in civic life for many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
A role model for a lot of people. What inspired you to get involved in community service?
Well, we moved here over 20 years ago, and I was teaching locally. I worked for SUSD for quite a long time, and I just felt I wanted to do more to help the city. So quite a while ago, I joined the Human Relations Commission and ended up spending 6 years on the Human Relations Commission.
It's a long term.
And then felt, well, now what do I do? So I went before the City Council and applied for the Human Services Commission, which allocates funds to different organizations locally. Mm-hmm. And I was appointed, and I spent 6 years on the Human Services Commission and thoroughly enjoyed it and met wonderful people. And then I decided, okay, that's enough. But then with all of the publicity that was going on about libraries, I thought, let me apply to the library board. Mm-hmm. And here I am.
City Council must be getting used to seeing her name on the nominating committees, right?
Yeah, what's the difference between the Human Relations Board and the Human Services Board?
Oh, they're very different. Human Relations pretty much worries about taking care of the people in the city, making sure that, well, DEI got sort of brushed away, but treating everyone equally.
So services then, or?
Yeah.
They provide services?
Right. Human Services, all of the people who want money from Scottsdale, the city, the grants, come to our board, present their needs, and then we sit down, read all of the RFP, read everything, and then determine how much funding goes to each one of those services. So it's the shelters, things like New Leaf, UMOM,
Family Promise?
A lot of the area, needs are met by the city. Unfortunately, every year I was on, the amount of money kept decreasing.
I bet.
So, but that's the difference. Human services is money given to special groups.
Okay.
That's what we need for sure. So you and your husband, Mike, who's also in the studio, is kind of watching us today. So hello, Mike. You guys are supporters of all kinds of things, arts, healthcare, education. How do you decide where you're going to focus your time? Do you guys talk about it together? How does that all work out in the Seiden household?
We are both very involved with the arts. And we love the arts, we love theater, we love music. And what we have done is we have allocated through Michael's IRA and things like that we want to keep the arts going, because a city without arts is a city without a soul. It's a city without color. So we support the Scottsdale Center for the Arts. We support ASU Foundation and Gamage. We support the Symphony. We support Arizona Theater Company. All of these get our funding and our support. And if not for people like us, I don't think we would have the arts. So we want to keep doing it as long as we can.
Sounds good to me, Kevin. What do you think? Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, do you Scottsdale Symphony or Phoenix Symphony, or both?
The Phoenix Symphony.
Phoenix Symphony.
You know, I've never been to the Scottsdale
Really,
Symphony.
they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I like them.
Yeah, we had a podcast show.
We
with,
did. We had the director on a couple years ago.
That was good, yeah. So as vice chair of the library board, that's an important role in the community, to say the least. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Pretty much, the library should be open to everyone, absolutely everyone. Unfortunately, we do get complaints from people in the community because homeless people come into the library. They are invited in and allowed to be in unless there's any kind of disruption. But everyone, the library is open to everyone, and we support the staff. The number one thing is to support the staff, support their needs when they go to city council, and be there for them and for the community, and make sure that the library remains open to everyone.
So what are some of the things that you guys deal with in terms of issues or the way the library operates? What are some of those issues look like to you?
We really leave a lot to the staff. We are advisory. We don't make, specific decisions about the library. We can advise. So when there's funding for something, we'll support it. When there's, for instance, they have certain regulations that they bring into the library. The library is no longer a silent place. And people will very often complain about, there's too much noise from the children. So we'll support what the library needs to make the area for children a little quieter for the older people who make comments. So, we'll support funding for a silent wall, so we support what the citizens want and what the library staff can afford.
There's lots of services there, lots of programming too, isn't there?
Lots of programming. I've been to several things that I've thoroughly enjoyed. For instance, there's one program where they bring service dogs to the library, and children come in with a book. And the children sit with the dogs and read to the dogs, which is so adorable.
That's awesome.
That's adorable. They play, they have different movies that they show several times a year, free of charge. A lot of people come. The library is also used for meetings. The mayor has been there to do, a meeting for the community. I just recommended the city do this, and I hope they follow through. There is a movie called Band Together, and it is a movie of 90 minutes, and it talks about book banning and how certain communities are trying to prevent certain books and what the libraries are doing. And I just recommended at our last meeting that we bring it to Scottsdale. And I'm hopeful that Mike Beck will be able to do it and have our community see this movie. Because book banning has become it's become very popular in certain
So I know that's the issue in
areas.
the school districts. Is it also a problem in the public libraries as well?
Yes,
then?
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I found it very interesting as to what the library does. Scottsdale Library has never banned a book,
Okay.
ever. There were 3 requests per year, but it goes through a whole long process.
So there's been 3
before-
community members requesting that specific books be banned in the Scottsdale Public Libraries.
Right. And what they have to do first is, and I have this right in front of me, they have to read first the freedom to read statement, okay? And then they have to fill out a form with what they object to, okay, the specifics of their objective. And then they have to say they read the book and there's an area that bothered them. And then the request is submitted to the collection management coordinator. Bet you didn't know there was a collection
Is that
management
a
coordinator.
one person? Is that a specific person?
Yeah,
then? Okay.
right. And she goes ahead and researches and does input from other professionals, and then they determine if the objection is valid and if the item should be removed. And in the past 10 years, Scottsdale Public Library has averaged less than 3 requests per year, and nothing has ever been removed. So it's a whole process. It isn't like, oh, you want it removed? Okay, we're taking it off. Unfortunately, the schools are having more difficulty than Scottsdale Public Library.
Sounds like the system's working well then.
Yeah, it is. And the community is very, very supportive of the library.
Sure.
It's a wonderful community, and all of the branches, the most visited branch is Civic Center,
Sure.
followed by Mustang. And I mean, the volunteers and the programming and the support, it's wonderful. And this is what we need to keep going in Scottsdale. We don't need anyone to come in and try to squash or squelch anything that's being done right now. We have a great director, Mike Beck.
Yeah. Scott's the leadership guy.
Cool. So what are some of the challenges that you guys talk about? Funding, technology, community engagement? What kind of challenges do you see to the library board heading down the road?
Funding.
Funding?
Yeah.
How does the funding work? For the city, obviously, right?
It's the city, and some of the monies do come from grants, but you know that everything gets cut little by little, and especially in our city right now. The library has to deal with their main budget, what's the most important, and then what's not so important. And they're lucky if they get the most important done yearly. It's always money, it really is. But Scottsdale Library seems to be doing well. They are adding, Civic Center's getting a new bathroom. I mean, this is exciting.
There you go. That's good news.
And Mustang got a wall to separate between the children's area and the adult area to make sure that there was less noise. So little by little, they get what they need.
That's tremendous. Any other questions on the library board from you before we turn into the foster care review board?
I want to talk about foster care
Yeah,
because I
me
was talking to
too.
Enid about this, and this is really interesting to me.
Well, tell us about what the foster care review board is. Tell us what you guys do.
Okay, there are quite a number of us, and they're all over. They're all over the county, and we used to meet at the courthouse once a month, but since COVID, Zoom came in, so now we meet once a month on Zoom. So what we do is we receive approximately 8 cases a month. And they come in on our email, and we have to read the cases. And we read what the background is of the family, why the children were taken away, where the children are now, and what the parents are doing to rectify the reason the children were taken away. And we read all this. We talk to the case managers. Very often we talk to the birth parents. We talk to the foster parents. And after we're done, we go through a checklist and we give our input to the judge. Hey, you know what? These parents are working very hard. They're taking parenting classes. They're taking substance abuse classes. They're really doing what they can. Let's hold off. Let's give them more time. Let's, let the kids are with grandma. The kids are fine. And let's see it in 6 months. And then we tell the judge how we feel. Or the parents are doing nothing. They are still on meth. They're still on marijuana. They're still on fentanyl. They're not doing anything to take care of the kids. The kids are better off where they are right now. And on a case like that, we'll recommend severance and adoption. But we try not to do that if the parents are actually working hard to try to modify their behavior. And unfortunately, a lot of parents don't modify their behavior, but a lot of the kids are with grandparents. And I think to myself, can you imagine at your age being in charge of 3 under 10 children that are now your responsibility? And a lot of grandparents do this. They're wonderful. They really are.
So you're only seeing the hardest, the separation cases,
Right.
where a child's been extracted from
Yes.
their birth parents and placed in foster care.
Right.
So the foster care program is a lot bigger than eight a month. It's huge.
Oh,
right? But you're only seeing
that's
the
what
most,
we get.
you're only seeing the most extreme.
Right, but then there are
critical
other
cases.
foster care boards throughout Maricopa
Okay.
County, throughout Pinal, throughout Mojave. They're all over, and we get assigned. I mean, those 8 cases take us from 8:30 in the morning till almost 4 in the afternoon.
I bet.
So it's a commitment once a month, plus all of the reading of all of the, the cases. So it's a commitment, but I hope I'm doing a good thing for these children. That's why we do it. I've been doing it about 8 years, 9 years. And I feel like it's an important thing to do.
What drew you to that work? Why'd you get involved with it? How'd that come up for you?
It's funny, it came up through my daughter. Not the daughter you know. This is another daughter. I have a daughter who lives in Gilbert, who moved here and got involved with the police. And she was working for the Chandler Police Department. And she had been a deputy in Colorado, but she moved here and she became a layman in Chandler Police. And she found out about it, and she got on the board and told me all about it. And then she went into teaching alternative kids in high school in Chandler.
What
And
does that
she
mean?
dropped
What's an
alternative kids who are on probation,
Okay.
kids who need to make up credits in order to graduate.
So kids with behavioral issues.
Kids with all kinds of issues. And so it's a high school in Chandler. I think it's called Hill, and it is strictly for kids who need to make up credits. And she condenses the curriculum so that they can fulfill the requirements. So she dropped out and said, "Mom, I really think this is something you would like. Look into it." And that was about 8-9 years ago.
That's great. So you are super involved in the community. You have been for a long time, kind of like a role model community citizen for people. So what kind of advice do you have for people that want to get involved in the communities and aren't quite sure where to start?
Well, that's a good question. I know that Scottsdale has a whole volunteer area where you can volunteer. And I think people should definitely look into that. Foster Care Review Board and CASA, which is another branch, they visit the children. and become involved personally with the children, they always need help. And, I would recommend people go online, look up Foster Care Review Board, look up CASAs. Definitely look into that. It's really needing more support. And unfortunately, there are loads of children who are out of the home and need a mentor, personal help, mentoring. You know how many teenagers are in foster care that are looking for someone to be a mentor, someone to sit down and help them. What are your goals? What do you want to do? You're involved with EVIT. I mean, we try to get kids into applying to EVIT so they have a focus, a plan for the future. And I really recommend people look into that. I know the city has volunteers. The library has loads of volunteers, people who love the library and love to help. So the hospitals, I mean, there are so many places
So many things
you
to do,
can
yeah.
give of yourself. Absolutely. And I recommend people do, because I'm not one to spend my week playing golf, which I know a lot of people do, or playing games, which a lot of the women I know do. I would like my time to be spent helping others.
You're not playing euchre on Tuesdays?
That I never heard of.
Yeah?
We used to play bunco.
Bunko. Okay, there you
Bunco
go.
at Cherokee.
There you go.
That was a long time ago.
I think euchre's a game, isn't it? Is it a card game or a dice
I
game?
don't know about that.
I never heard it.
Oh, yeah, maybe. So you've spoken about the importance of respect, kindness, empathy in civic life. How do those values shape your volunteer work?
Those are me. You just
All you?
mentioned,
Yeah,
that's
makes
me.
sense. Yeah.
I'm very empathetic. I'm very caring. My children are all big and grown. My grandchildren are big and grown, and I need to give to others at this point as well as my family. But empathy is very important. I won't be political, but empathy is lacking right now.
You're
in
allowed
our
to be
country.
political. Go for it. We can do that.
No, empathy is
Kevin and I will.
lacking. Empathy is lacking right now. I mean, the fact that people are losing health care, they're losing their food stamps. I mean, and there's a lack of awareness from a lot of people. I don't understand. I just marched on Saturday.
Okay.
And I just want people to care about their neighbors. I really do.
Yeah, Don's on the Arizona Democracy Resiliency Network. I mean, he knows about empathy. He fights for it every day. I mean, he's fighting that battle for civil dialogue every single day. He's
It's
doing a great
getting
job.
worse, though. It just seems to be getting worse. And I feel very frustrated right now. I feel like, what can we do at this point in time to change things?
Keep doing what you're doing and don't lose hope.
How'd you
that's the
feel on
whole work.
Saturday when you got done? Was it?
I loved it.
Did you feel good?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you go Saturday?
I was on an airplane.
That's right. You were on an airplane. There were thousands of people right on the corner over here at Camelback and Scottsdale Road. Thousands on four corners going down Scottsdale Road, going down Camelback. And we couldn't march. You know, in Chicago and New
Yeah.
York, they closed the the streets. No one closed the streets for us. So we stood on the sidewalk. We stood on the corners. We had signs. There were some hysterical signs. And as people drove by, they honked. And there were so many people honking at us. It just made you feel like you were doing something, because you feel like, what else can you do right now except get out there and vote and stand up and speak your mind? What else can you do?
Well, you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And
Not
you're
enough.
a role model for others. So if everybody did what you're doing, we'd be making a lot more progress. So thank you for all the things that you endeavor to get involved with, all your community activities and volunteerism. It's It's remarkable, and it's what we need in this community, Kevin.
Absolutely.
You know
It's-
it? Yeah.
You're in the right city for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Great conversation, Enid. Kevin, you have any other questions for her?
Thank you, and thanks so much for what you do. I mean, it seems like every time I turn around and look for somebody who's doing something in the community, you and Michael pop up. So it's just great to have you guys as friends, and thank you on behalf of our community.
And thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends. Tell them about Enid. They all want to know about her. She's wonderful. Make sure you share this podcast and come on back with us for next week for another episode of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.